Jujutsu Infinite is a dead game, is what a lot of people have been saying recently. And the people who are saying this aren't necessarily wrong. If you look at it from a numbers perspective, it has definitely fallen off. But the reason for that is obvious. They aren't dropping any good content updates. They've had some cool small updates that gets everyone back for a day or two, and there'll be at least more than 60,000 players, somewhere around there. But since it's a small update, the number comes back down quickly and drastically. The worst part about this is that I think that there's an even deeper problem than just them not dropping updates. It's something that I think is almost inevitable. First of all, I think it's really important to know that Jujutsu Infinite is a big game. This game is very good for only having 5 developers. And yes, you heard me correctly, 5 developers only, at least the ones that are credited on the game page. Maybe there could be some people helping from the outside that we don't know of, but from what we can see, it's only 5 developers. So updates coming out slowly is something that can be expected, because it's truly a lot for a team of 5 people who have their own lives outside of being developers. At the same time though, from the developer's perspective, you should also expect that if you can't drop consistent updates with substantial content, your players are slowly going to stop playing the game. For the players, it's also a turnoff when there's radio silence from the developers. In the Jujutsu Infinite Discord server, they've been promising a huge update soon, and then it got delayed. And that's fine. Generally speaking, that's a good thing for players, because if devs can take their time with updates, it's obviously going to be much better than if they rush it. But then when you get hit with the silent treatment, you have no idea of what's going on with the game. No announcements, no sneak peeks. You'll simply start to forget the game. And that's definitely where Jujutsu Infinite is at right now. This is just a surface level observation though. Surely when they drop the 6-eyed calamity update, they'll have a little comeback and it'll seem like everything is fine. But I think there's still a problem rooted deep within the nature of the game. What I mean by that is, since it's a game based on Jujutsu Kaisen and it's more so a PvE/story game, they can only go off of what's in the manga. And the manga's already over. On top of that, they've added basically almost all of the relevant things you could possibly have. All of the popular characters, techniques, bosses, and the only ones that haven't been added yet, well sure, you can have that and you can add them. And the game will be on a high for a little bit, but what I'm trying to get at is that at some point, you're gonna run out of source material. The developers are going to get to a point where they're gonna need to come up with methods to keep players in their game, even when they've run out of stuff to add. Of course, they could just start making stuff up for the game, but I don't think people are gonna go along with that. And at least to me, it's not obvious what they can do after they've added the rest of the relevant content to the game. Like, even if what's left are the less important things in Jujutsu Kaisen, no one wants that. We don't want to see a Druve update. I don't really think people would care about these like side characters and just generally less important things. Because of that, I think Jujutsu Infinite is in a very difficult spot, and I could see a future where the game just stays dead because of this exact problem. It's not like Jujutsu Shenanigans, where even if they were to add all the characters, people would still play the game because it's a battlegrounds game and it's super fun. And you've got different game modes, you can learn different characters, but that's just not the case with Jujutsu Infinite. If the devs can somehow come up with something that can keep players grinding, even if they run out of new content to add from the source material, then they could keep the game alive. I just don't see that as a realistic thing. And these problems only become more concerning when you think about their past. To put it generously, a sketchy past. This absence of communication for basically over a month now on any big updates is just actively killing the game. And even if they're able to revive the game with some big updates, I think inevitably they're going to run out of content from the source material. And from that point moving forward, the future for Jujutsu Infinite seems similar to what we're seeing now with the game. Radio silence, player count dropping, and at some point people will just forget about the game and move on. I hope they do come up with something though, because I personally enjoy the game a lot. And I don't make this video with the intention of bringing hate to them or trying to bring them down, but more so pointing out a critical issue with the game that's very much present in my opinion. So sorry if I sound a little bit different. I just woke up and I saw that Jujutsu Infinite actually dropped an update, but it's just patch notes. Like, they didn't add anything new. They were just fixing stuff, things like balance changes, quality of life updates. And they said we are still working on the next major content update for the game, which is a good sign. But then again, we've been almost a month without anything new being added to the game. The last 2 updates have just been quality of life changes, some reworks, like fixes and stuff like that. Everything I said still stands. This would just be what I was saying, where even if they do come back and they drop some updates and they drop the big updates, they still face an inevitable problem. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. If you guys enjoy this type of content, make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one.